Hello, and welcome back. If you're seeing a little new branding here, we have changed. Welcome to 500 Doors Real Estate Podcast, formerly known as Kim Talks Real Estate. This podcast is where we focus on the social responsibility and obtainable and sustainable strategies that serve our communities and clients alike. Understanding real estate is a dream for many that we, real estate professionals and those who serve people in their real estate needs, have the ability to change the dream to reality while building better communities and being the change we want to see. So be sure you check out real quickly my program. I'm Kim Hayden over at the 500 Doors. It's a unique, socially responsible real estate effort to create socially responsible real estate agents, business development, and growth. So you can check out 500-doors.com. All right, so today's guest, speaking of agents of change, this gal's got it in spades because she wants you not only to change in little ways, but think big and outside of the box. Emily Braun is an avid traveler with experiences of traveling into 40 plus countries. That's not cities and states, folks. This is countries. After years of living and working in 4 different countries, 3 continents, several immigrations, and several changes in professional directions, she realized that what it would be like to create a new life chapter full of passion, health, and purpose. The concept of international lifestyle consulting came from her desire to help others work, live, and retire overseas, enjoying life to the fullest without compromising health and overall well-being. Modern technology gives remote workers and retirees the opportunity to live anywhere in the world. Also, when we think, it gives digital nomads the opportunity to live their life to the fullest while creating revenue. With so many choices, you need a trusted guide to advise you and help you develop your personal relocation plan. Apologize about that. Emily retired or invest, which helped many baby boomers to find an affordable place to live in retirement without compromising their lifestyle. Emily now is pioneering a one-of-a-kind way to seamlessly transition assisting professionals, retirees, remote workers, and digital nomads discover their new places and cultures that are inspiring options for the realization of their ideas, plans, and freedom to live wherever they choose. So I love this quote. I'm going to share this and bring Emily in. Future generations may look back on the first decades of the 21st century as the age of migration. And that is so incredibly powerful. Welcome, Emily.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Kim, for inviting me, and I'm looking forward for engaging conversation today.
Yeah, I'm really quite excited because this is something what you're talking about, the digital nomads. I'm seeing a lot of people within the space that I'm in actually now becoming digital nomads. So, and I never even thought, 10 years ago, I would have never thought that I could live half the year or the next 3 years in Bali. I have a girlfriend in Bali. I have friends all over. And I'm sitting here going, oh, well, that is an option. Why can't I do that, right? So that being said, let's first dive in. Please, Emily, introduce yourself and share a little fun tidbit about yourself that maybe not everybody knows.
Fun. Okay. We're starting from fun. Maybe it would be funny for many of the listeners, but I am actually, small secret, baby boomer who is in a time when many baby boomers are thinking about, relaxing, where to be, to have a fun life. I am not only starting new chapter, I am really trying to influence others to do the same because I am actually baby boomer on the age of kind of next group, Gen Xer, So I fully understand what kind of issues in priority each age group has in life, and specifically in this, I would say, turbulent times we are living in now.
Absolutely. And it is, we are, you know, a lot of people talk about and yes, the pandemic has been and continues to be a real challenge for a lot of people. And there are a lot of downsides, but boy, the upside has been technology and the embracing of technology, because that has literally created freedom for so many people. So, speaking of freedom, share with me what you do, because I think a lot of people are going to find this really interesting.
You know, it's really interesting that you started with this word, because this word, it's really part of my personality. It's not word and it's not concept. It's partially who I am. And I know that many people, even they don't realize, but they're looking for freedom. And I would say that many Canadians and Americans, people who were born here, you're so used to this word freedom, it's kind of okay, it's like air. So you don't understand what does it mean to live without freedom. So usually people, evaluate the concept or relationship, I would say, only when they lose it. So,
Yep.
speaking about me, I started living in Canada for 25 years. It was last week, 25 years for me living in Canada. I started to feel that there is something with freedom, that I'm losing my freedom somehow, because I get a lot of deja vus, from my former life in Soviet Union, but we will not touch this point.
Thank
But
you.
at the same time, from the same time, little bit 3 months, years ago, when first lockdown started, I realized that we will not come back to life we've been before, that we're living now in a new era. And the first time in my life, I had time in lockdown, thanks to lockdown, I'm laughing, to have time to think, to read, to analyze, from different sources I have, what's going on in the world, what's going on not only in North America, in Canada, but what's going on in Europe and different parts of the world. So I realized that we are going as a world, we are going through the big changes, political, economical, social changes, and being the buff of history, I realized that at this time, people are usually relocating. People are usually historically proven that people are moving from continent to continent, from country to country. And with today's technology, whatever it was mentioned in my bio, I realized that a relocation will be different kind of. That's why, and at this time, I've had my small travel company, Travel Passion. It was company I've had before, International Lifestyle Consulting. And even with this company, I was promoting medical tourism to Latin America and tours for baby boomers. The program, the name was Looking for Retirement Places Abroad. I just transferred my travel, because I realized travel will not be business, at least for me, for times to go. And I was thinking how I can kind of utilize my various experience, because I changed many professional fields, my multi-immigrational experience, my connections I already have in many countries, my personal interest and my travel experience to the new concept. And I noticed from the Facebook groups that people started to move. Actually, people started to leave United States in the time of COVID to Mexico. And because I was specializing on Mexico, I understood there is time for me. And from this point, International Lifestyle Consulting was born as a company.
How do real estate agents, so if do you work with agents, real estate agents?
Yes, I work with real estate agents in destination countries. So I have several real estate agents in Mexico. It's country number one in my list of countries I'm working with. I am connected with several developments in different countries, country per country, different relationship, like business relationship I have. But I am connected with real estate brokers in Canada, and I wish I would be connected even with more real estate agents because I fully appreciate this profession. I'm not a real estate agent or broker myself, but I'm this mediator, I'm this
A medium. Yeah.
connection bridge. And why? Because I understand that when people are relocating, one of the first places they need accommodation, we would say from travel perspective, or they need place to live from, real estate perspective.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, food, shelter, education, medication, those are all critical to everyone. I know that I want to touch just a couple more points with real estate agents and how, because this is a show, we talk a lot of, we are working to help support real estate agents be the agent of change in their community. So how can a real estate agent who is maybe going into a home where somebody is a baby boomer, or somebody has built up a home business over, but it's a virtual business. What are some of the things that maybe a real estate agent would be cues that maybe that person's next move is not to buy a property within the city they're currently in, but maybe it's time that they, go out and explore the world. What are some things that real estate agents can actually help identify the right fit person for international residents?
It's a loaded question. It's kind of five in one. But I would tell you, so if somebody in particular interested to explore some areas, and again, I'm working with Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, and Latin America, and Spain, Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Bulgaria in Europe. So I can connect based on the interest, with my connection I have in these countries. But if person is interested, bless you, to relocate himself or discover new areas for business, opportunities and connection, I can consult as well, because I am connected and I am working with real estate professionals in countries I named, and not only real estate professionals. And I would say there is already group, several people, real estate agent connecting with me from Ontario, from other provinces. I have connection of American real estate. We kind of in the same circles. I just have a little bit different perspective, actually bigger perspective, because I understand that people need more than only home to live. But if people looking for, say, vacation property abroad, it's what's happening. If people looking to diversify their portfolio, now we're speaking about, the same language. If people are looking for options to live abroad, one of the first steps in many kind of relocation plan is to buy a property abroad, because this property will actually help in the relocation process.
So it is like a relocation service. Most agents are very familiar to relocation services. They're not getting into the moving or the understanding of the new market. The relocation services do most of that work for them. So I've dealt a lot over the years with like Wykert Relocations, and they're a corporate relocation company. But when they move somebody to a new city, they have not only that person's entire needs. Do they have children? Are they, do they drive? Do all these other things? But then they also match that agent, that client, their client, up to like the areas that they should be buying in. This area has transportation. This area has the best schools. This area. So they're actually priming the client before they land there. Is that what you do? Is you help orientate your clients as to what's available, where they're going, and how it matches up to their needs?
You exactly touched the point, because I found, actually speaking with many Americans and Canadians and thinking myself, that some people understand or they wish to move, but they don't know where. Like they know Mexico, but they know Mexico because they spend time and, you know, in all inclusive in some resort city. And I'm always pointing out that travel and life, you know, whatever you see from 5-star hotels on all inclusive resorts, it's not what is really on the ground when you live here. And I know it from my multi-immigrational experience. But I understand when people don't have this experience, when they don't know where to start from. So I am here to help to match particular destination of the person or family. And I'm speaking about two groups I selected for myself: baby boomers and remote workers, who I actually identify as professional 45 plus, 40 plus with families, because these categories have more like requirements to be happy and successful in new relocation. It's actually a very hard process to relocate yourself in this part of the life. But first of all, I believe person need to be matched with the country. And if we speak about country already selected, with the region, because Mexico is a huge country with different cultural areas, with different communities, with different climate, and so on, so on. Panama is not so huge, but in every country you have a different region. So here I am to advise, to help, to find the destination country and destination area in a country. And when this is selected, we can start working already, you know, when you have this clear zooming in place, you can start work on your plan. It's what I'm about.
Amazing. And it probably removes a lot of the fear, the anxiety around going into a full-on brand new culture and community, just having
Exactly.
somebody like yourself.
Exactly. And by the way, I am not advising to full relocation, I would say immigration. For some people, and like in North America, we have option to start living part-time, like many Canadians do, say in Mexico and other countries, it's what I say. But again, every situation is different. Start from, let's look at your situation, your particular connection with this or other country, and after then we will bring like immigration, taxation, and all other required steps when you are really committed to move abroad. But let's start, let's see your situation, and we will work from this your particular situation, I mean as a client, as a family. And when it's all clear, and I will be removing some fears from unknown, which anyway it will be some fears, but I'm here, you know, I can answer your question, I can connect you with people, and I would connect you with professionals, with immigration lawyers, taxation specialists, and
Yeah.
expat communities when it needed.
Oh, in community. So that is actually what I'd like to ask you is, what does community mean to you?
You know, again, community is very wide concept. And what is community for you? Probably not community for many other people. But, you know, being to the point, I understand that community is super important, specifically when you move to the new place. You know, I am part of several immigrants community. Look, in Canada, I mean, even I'm Canadian for many years, and my daughter was born here. I'm still immigrant. And even I'm not using kind of my community for my day-to-day needs, but the first, what will really comfort people or help people when they coming to the new place, it's community. That's why, by the way, how I am different from many other big companies who are working in this direction. I am looking for communities in Central America, in Mexico. I am actually specializing. I'm researching expat communities abroad, retiree communities, digital nomad communities. I became, and I'm still develop my network of connection in the digital nomad world, different countries, because I'm very interested about what's happening with this, you know, younger professional generation and what they do. They create new communities. There's new digital nomad communities in Croatia, in Bulgaria, in Portugal, in Mexico, several. That's why community for me, it's a cornerstone, actually the base of our living in country we are now, in our day-to-day life, and specifically in new country and culture. And I'm looking for English speaking community. By the way, it's very important because it's super comforting, I would say, and helpful for people when they relocate, if they wish, only if they wish. There are some people who are okay without it, but I'm trying to give this option to be part of expat communities, because they are people who will help on the first steps on a new ground.
Well, and we're seeing this a lot in places like some people in the United States. Obviously, we're seeing in countries that are in conflict. We're seeing in countries that are going through climate mandates, where there are climate exodus. Basically, people are having to relocate because the climates are just getting too hot or too dangerous. So and people don't necessarily want to leave their home. We are who we are where we're born, and there's always going to be a piece of us there, right? And creating that community as we go in other places is really important. So I can see where the true benefit comes in with a consulting service like yourself. It's actually not just the physical movement of a space to live in. It's also the creation and support and infrastructure of community.
Exactly, exactly.
What is a book you would recommend to people who are considering this lifestyle and they just want to start exploring? Is there any books, authors, bloggers that you recommend people follow?
I would not point out particular blog. Actually, there's a lot of YouTubers and working in this space, books about different countries written by expats about Mexico. I don't know, 10, 15. It's what I know. And, and people are looking, based on their comfort level and understanding. If you do search in YouTube, you can find actually myself as international lifestyle consulting, but they can find another people which will bring some glimpses of new knowledge, new experience, advices. But it takes probably years to accumulate all this knowledge. And by the way, what I can tell, anyway, it would be not your personal experience, because with all these books, it's not your life. And what I'm trying to help, really to ask sometimes even hard questions for people to think about how they would feel, what they would do. And I'm working with, actually not alone, I have coaches which are working on transformational changes, because it's big mental work which follow the person, moving, transferring. So I'm looking on the big picture. For me, it's not books, it's my life and my accumulated life experience. For others, you can look at this as a country, but to compare country and what is better for me, don't base your opinion on somebody's opinion. Again, come to me. Yes, it will be my opinion, but I would be listening to you. And by the way, I developed questionnaire with many different questions regarding desired lifestyle, desired like budget. It's very important. What budget do you have? And actually, I would enlighten people, and it's actually, I would say, not cheap project, but depends what you're looking for.
And I think that a lot of people do look at their budget and how can I live a little bit better somewhere else. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for globally when we look at the global landscape as to where we can reside. So, I'm going to ask everybody, be sure that you like, subscribe, and comment and share. for the 500 doors and help us really get this up and running. This is again a podcast around understanding the social responsibility we as professionals within the decision making of other people's shelter that we really do have. And community is key, and exploring the different styles and types of communities is also important. Real quickly, Emily, what is a quote that you just love? Something that I'm sure there's something in all your travels and in your life, because you've had a very diverse life. Everything, your educational background, everything, and even just your movement from one country to another country in your younger years, right? So, what is a quote that you kind of heard and sticks to you?
You know what? I will use a simple one, which is, I think, ring a bell to each of us. Never say never. Because you
Excellent.
don't know what is awaiting you around the corner. Because even like 5 years ago, I didn't imagine that I would be sitting today with you speaking about these topics. Because with all this, and sometimes I say never to myself, the next moment I say, okay, you don't know what's gonna be. So be open to opportunities, be open to discover new yourself and new life around.
Absolutely. Being open is critical, because when you're open, you can receive. When you're closed, you'll never see the opportunities out there. So, real quick for myself, because this is something that's very fascinating to me. How long do you think it takes on average for a person to kind of get a true feel for a culture?
Oh, it's very, very kind of subjective. That's why I'm trying to help, by the way, people, because I feel and I noticed from my multi-year experience, actually mostly communicating with immigrant, even in Canada, immigrant from different countries, not only which were going my way, because it's very subjective. It very depends from what country you came, what kind of personality you are, if you came alone or with family, if you became part of community, immigrant community, or you became part of the biggest community. But very important, it's the language. If you speak the same language, of the local culture, there's so many component. And what is important, it's your own personality, how your personality is matching with culture around you. you know I can tell you even that I lived 25 years in Canada, and I used to many things here, and I like it. But somehow when I'm going to Mexico, to Latin America, I feel that I'm at home. I don't. It's something on the mental level. I'm more relaxed. I'm more fun. I know why. Because of lack of sun. Oh, in Canada,
Yeah.
I don't have a sun, especially at winter. So
Yeah.
when you're going to sunny place and all looks like relaxed, so you're trying to smile. No, but these small features, I would say, it's define your well-being. That's why, by the way, I'm identifying this kind of not issues, but what kind of personality. And for some people, I would say, thinking about my immigration, 3 years is a minimum, 5 years it's optimum to feel you part of this. And for some people, even all their life, they still feel that they're new to the culture. And what is important, culture around us is very quickly changing. Look at Canada.
Yeah.
I lived here 25 years ago, and I can tell that it's not the country I arrived 25 years ago. It's not the country I remember 10 years ago, and even 5 years ago.
And I think most people will say that for nearly every country they live in. So,
Exactly.
and part of that could also be that we change.
Exactly. We
We
change,
change.
society
Yeah.
change, rules, and actually this migration, global migration, it changing the landscape of our country, other countries, not only landscape, social structure of society. So here,
Absolutely.
where people are sometimes finding, okay, do I live in my country or it's not my country anymore?
Emily, where can people find you?
Okay,
What's
it's
your
very
what's your
simple.
website?
My website is exactly as my name, emilybron.com. www.emilybron.com. You can find me via Google. I have my page on business Google, in YouTube, in LinkedIn. Here I am.
Oh, and I think that you would be quite fun to watch on YouTube. I think everybody should from the show should just go check it out, right? Because you never know when the opportunity arises that you too can become a digital nomad, or your parents. You know what? Maybe they want to go somewhere and live 2, 3, 4 years there. What a great place to go visit! I would love to visit my mom in Panama or Italy. Hey, mom, if you're listening, please call Emily. Move somewhere really cool. So,
So Kim
you
will
know,
visit you often. So Kim will
yeah,
visit you
you'll see
often.
me way more, mom, if you move to Italy. But there's so many options and opportunities, and that is, I believe, the silver lining within the last few years is we have the zones of geniuses like Emily's and so many other women out there and men who are actually stepping forward and leading in and creating community where they are. So I just want to say thank you, Emily, for joining us today, giving us a little bit of an insight as to how you serve people in their home seeking initiatives, and just creating a different opportunity and a different voice from what maybe we all hear on a regular basis.
Thank you very much. And I can tell you that with big interest, actually, I identify Canadian expat communities in Mexico. They're a little bit different, saying, comparing with American. Even I'm good with each of, because my interest is English speaking communities in countries I'm visiting, or I'm saying if there's no community, create one and I would help you.
Create one. Thank you so much, Emily. And speaking of that, create the community. So be sure to check out our 500 Doors Facebook group to grow your business and brand by being that standout in your community. Visit 500-doors.com and get your free next 90-day agenda. It's for organic leads and marketing. And we all love organic. Organic is the key word. And also, be sure to check out Emily Braun on YouTube. I'm sure you're in for a treat. Until next time, I'm your host here at 500 Doors, where behind each door is an opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.